Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you are watching this video. Thank you for clicking on the Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review channel. The subject of our video today will be the Avatar, made by Pineider. This pen has been provided to us by Goldspot Pens at their cost in exchange for an unbiased, honest, and fair review, that which we are all dedicated to on a daily basis. Stay tuned till after the broadcast for information on how to attain an exclusive Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review channel coupon code to Goldspot Pens for any of the pens that have been reviewed by our network in the past. Now, before we get into the neutral zone, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and finally, high noon on this pen, we will first go into some background information, including the company that is Pineider and how the Pineider fountain pens came to be. Let's go to Penboy Roy now. Pineider is a paper brand. They have been around since 1774. That's 240 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to be making anything, let alone paper. They just started getting into making fountain pens, and their timing couldn't be better because the creator, founder, and owner, rather former owner of Visconti Pens, was just pushed out by his shareholders and investors who had a larger majority of shares in the company, and he was out of job. So when Pineider saw this, they scooped him up and they said to him, make pens for us, and he agreed. Which brings us to where we are now, the Pineider. There were two editions. There was the limited edition that was the La Grande Bellezza, and now there's the regular edition as well, which is the Avatar. Well, there you have it, folks. That is your background information. Moving on to what we call here the neutral zone, descriptions of the pens that are neither good or bad, or can be good or bad, depending on you, the viewer. Let's go back over to our correspondent, Penboy. The nib. This nib is a Bach-made nib in Germany. This was verified with Jaffa. Now, typically Jaffa doesn't like to disclose vendors of nib makers for their brands if they own them. They don't own Pineider. They did confirm that these are Bach-made nibs. This one's rhodium plated. It is medium. It has a removable nib unit similar to those that you see inside of your Edison pens, your Auroras, Pelicans, and whatnot. It has a metal grip section with a slight taper. There's no flare at the end. The threads on the grip are metal. On the body, they are acrylic. The cap is a single piece of acrylic with a spring-loaded clip. It has a goose quill as a clip. However, to me, this clip looks totally like a lizard's tail. The clip assembly is clean, and it does not have any visible screws, such as if you look inside the cap in a Rembrandt, you'll see a Phillips head screw securing the assembly. This closes using a magnetic cap similar to that you would see in also a Rembrandt. The interior of the cap is acrylic, and there's no sleeve that's attached to the interior. It's all just acrylic. The center band is flush against the body of the pen. There's no real step from the cap to the body, making it a very sleek pen overall. The center band is branded with Pineider. It also has an outline of Florence, Italy going around the circumference of it. The pen has a rounded top, has a rounded bottom, and there's only 2 points of branding on this pen. As I said, it was on the center band and on the nib. This pen is a cartridge converter fountain pen. There is no eyedropper conversion in this pen because the threads are made of metal. This comes in a very flimsy outer box, similar, if not exactly the same, as the one you saw in the La Grande Bellezza. As soon as you open it, the whole thing falls apart on itself. Inside is the leather green box that looks like a doorstop. It opens up, pen sits inside a shelf clipped in. Underneath that is your instructions on how to fill the pen, as well as warranty information inside of a sleeve. There's also 6 holiday card type sample envelopes and paper that you can utilize as you wish. And there you have it, folks, the neutral zone, that which is neither good or bad. Now it is time to move on to the good, the bad, and the ugly, starting with the good, elements about the pen that are good. The nib here is stainless steel. This is a medium. It is wet, it is smooth, and it has feedback. There are absolutely no issues, no hard starts, no baby's bottom, no skips. Nothing. It's a very well-tuned, well-adjusted nib. Let me go back to the acrylic. The acrylic is absolutely gorgeous. It's a very deep, rich red. It has the same type of chatoyance and quality that the Pelikan M600 Vibrant Green has, absent being green. If you hold them next to each other and take a look at them, what you'll notice is it has the same type of mineral rock type natural appearance, and the light treats it the same way when it bounces off one side versus the other on both pens. This red, although called lipstick red, I have to say, in my honest opinion, is appropriate for any gender. Regarding the threads, a lot of times people dislike it when metal threads are rubbing against acrylic threads. Over time, they fear for tearing of the threads or chafing of the threads. In this case, the threads on the acrylic as well as on the metal are very finely machined, and it feels very solidly built. So I don't actually feel that same concern with this pen. I mentioned before that the center band was flush against the body. I love this. It makes the pen look very sleek and modern. The pen as a whole has a very gradual taper. It gives it a very subtle quality of elegance and class. The balance of this pen is fantastic. It is a very light pen, and although the grip section is metal and tapered, over long writing periods, it doesn't become uncomfortable. You don't feel like you're losing your grip or slipping, and that has a lot to do with the balance of the pen. The magnetic connection is, in this case particular, compared to that of a Rembrandt. It has the metal magnetic ring at the base of the step instead of at the top. That's a good thing for me, at least, because with the Legrand Bellezza, what I found was the magnet being at the top ended up getting chafed by the magnet that it meets inside the cap. In this case, since the magnet's at the bottom and the ring is separated all the way down here, you don't see the same kind of chafing that happens that you would on a Legrand Bellezza. This clip has an arch shape and tapers up right at the tip, making it easier for you to put the pen in your pocket. You don't have to grab, pull, put it in. You can just slide it right down. It comes out nice and easy. But it has enough tension so that it doesn't fall out of your pocket if you bend over to tie your shoes or pick something up off the floor. This pen is super reminiscent of the Visconti Rembrandt. Sure, they were designed by the same person, but in my honest opinion, what I feel this pen is the Visconti Rembrandt 2.0, but made by Pineider, designed by Dante Del Vecchio. Let me explain why I think that. Hold the two pens up next to each other and look at them. They're both red. They both have an arch-shaped clip. They're both rounded tops and bottom. They're both slightly tapered. They both have red swirls in it. They're the same shape. They're almost the same size. And here's the kicker. Both center bands are exactly the same measurements. This pen, being the Rembrandt 2.0 in my personal opinion, is a little bit of a stab at Visconti. It's a little bit of a 6th and 21st letter of the alphabet to Visconti from Dante Del Vecchio, using Pineider as the vehicle. Now, in my personal opinion, good for you, Dante Del Vecchio.
Of course, it can't always stay good. We will now go on to the bad. Talking about finances, possibly politics, or maybe even elements about the pen that could be improved at less of a cost.
Let's talk coin. This pen has an MSRP of $280. Now, at Goldspot Pens and various retailers throughout the country, they offer it at a variation of $224. Not too bad a price at $224. It's definitely an upgrade from the Rembrandt. However, the upgrade is solely in the look. There is a feel that is different in the nibs, and the writing experience is a very good writing experience. The Pineider medium, when you write with it, is more of a Western fine, whereas the Rembrandt is a very thick medium. The Rembrandt is smoother. However, it does have issues with hard starts and skipping when you first start writing. Even if you write a word, pick up and then start another word. A lot of times I notice I get a skip. On the Pineider Avatar, this doesn't happen. Cost of the pen is not really that bad. However, be aware, it is $224, whereas your Rembrandt, although it has many similarities, isn't quite as nice and eloquent as the Pineider. This one is $180. And at various retailers throughout the United States, you can get it for even less. Now, sure, you're getting an improved pen
over the Rembrandt. But you have to stop and think, is it worth it to spend another $224 if you already have the Rembrandt?
Coming up next, the ugly elements about the pen that should not be, but are. That could include aesthetics or quality control.
Despite it being a beautiful pen that writes wonderfully, there are ugly elements. They are minor. However, they are still there. So let me start with the nib. Although the nib writes very well, and that's probably of key importance when it comes to a pen, if you look at the polish of the nib, it looks very unfinished. It is not shiny. It looks rough. It kind of just looks like they found an old nib sitting in a warehouse that was dilapidated and left alone for years, and they threw it on this pen. It doesn't write like that, but it looks like that. Now, to the grip. Although the grip section is comfortable, although being metal and tapered, there's an issue with it. There is no magnet surrounding the nib to cause scratches to the body of the grip section. However, over time, what I do notice is there is a small, fine line, maybe even a couple of them, as a matter of fact, 2 of them, circling the circumference of the pen, and I don't know what causes it, because when you insert the pen, it doesn't actually touch anything, and once it closes, the cap is wide enough that the edges of the grip section aren't touching anything. So where are these scratches coming from? It's a mystery. Moving on to the clip assembly. I really love that the top of the pen and the bottom of the pen isn't adorned with metal like the Visconti Rembrandt on the bottom and the top. But if you look at the top of the clip, on the side, it is secured by what looks like a small rod punched through the entire width of the pen to secure the clip. Now, I would hate over time, and I'm sure you would too, to see this clip cause loosening of that rod and later maybe the rod falling out. That would kind of break my heart. It also just looks a bit crude, especially for a pen that has this much elegance and class and modern, sophisticated feel to it. Also, in the cap, what you have is a very clever design for a magnetic cap, which was innovative when it first came out. But how do you make it better? They did here by putting the magnet at the base of the center band and the bottom where the step is. Great idea. However, the magnet is very weak. There were several times where I was able to just hold the pen by the cap and flick it just a little bit and the pen would come out. I've been using this pen since I got it, and I've noticed that every time I put it in my pocket and pull it out, the pocket's never really tight enough to hold onto the pen and leave you with just a cap. However, even though that didn't happen, I still have a concern that it may. Could they have made the magnet stronger? Yes, I wish they did, because right now, the way it comes off just takes too little effort. Another thing I want to talk about. At the end of the barrel of the bottom of the pen, if you look at it, what you're going to see is what looks like a dimple right in the center of the acrylic. It seems that this is remnants of the machining. I doubt it was intentional. Why? Because why would they do that? It ruins the sleekness and the smoothness of the overall look.
Those are indeed ugly elements. Will those elements affect the decision? Coming up next, it's high noon.
Decision-making time. Should you or should you not pull the trigger on the Pineider Avatar? As much as I love Dante Del Vecchio, and as much as I want him to stick it to Visconti if that's his mission, or if his mission is just to make better versions of the pen he already has, whatever his mission is, as much as I want to stand behind it, I would say don't pull the trigger on this one just yet. $224, combined with the ugly aspects that it has, are kind of a bit much for me. The good is certainly good, and there's plenty of qualities that are good, but those qualities also exist in other pens that cost less, particularly for a nib that is made of steel.
Like, why do they keep hiring this guy? I'm on now? And there you have it, folks. The decision has been made. Now, be reminded that this is just the decision of one obnoxious man. You do not have to follow his advice. What will you do? Will you pull the trigger and purchase the Pineider Avatar, or will you not? Let us know in the comments.
Before we close, I just want to give you some information regarding the Penboy Roy exclusive fountain pen discount to Gold Spot pens. If you or a loved one are interested in any of the pens that have been reviewed on our channel here in the past or present, reach out to penboyroy@gmail.com. This is the Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Channel's way of saying thank you to the viewer for joining us week after week and showing us the support that you have been doing. I would also like to extend a huge thanks to those members at Gold Spot Pens. Thank you, Tom Odo, and of course, thank you, Don Johnson. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review channel. See you next time. Be well, be safe.